us about yourselves.
Tell you about myself. Well, for anyone that doesn't know me, I'm Nick. Most of you guys know me. I'm the guy with the mohawk, kind of hard to miss. I grew up in Peachtree City. Went to Georgia Tech. Moved around quite a bit afterwards when I worked for a company called Husqvarna. The lawnmowers, not the motorcycles or the sewing machines. Just saying. And moved back to Fayette County about 8 years ago, and been doing this ever since. So right now I'm an engineer for Panasonic.
Yeah.
And I'm Leslie Hester. I have 2 kids, Bruce and Jenny. Bruce is in the youth program, and Jenny is sort of an unofficial youth member, even though she's only an 8. And my husband Barry and I moved down to Fayette County to be near his parents. We're Delta people. And yeah, we became church members. I think it was, I don't know what time is anymore. I think it was 2 years ago. And we love Fayetteville First so much, and we're so happy to be here. And love Hannah.
Thanks.
And Nick.
Yes, we love you guys. So we're talking about masks this month, and the masks that we wear maybe to conceal a part of ourselves, or maybe, when I was in high school, I searched for my identity or who I was. So, now that, we're out of high school and middle school, just wanting to talk about the masks that, we all wore during that time and how we worked through that and how we kind of shed those masks, I guess you could say. So tell us about the masks that you all used to wear, maybe in middle school or high school or even college. Yeah.
All right, well, I'll go first. I'm cool going first. Let's see. Can't really think of a mask in middle school too much. But in high school, back then, being a skater was a big deal. And could not skateboard to save my life. There was a certain incident on the half pipe of Peachtree City where I ended up on my back with the wind knocked out of me. First and last time I ever tried to drop it in a half pipe. I could rollerblade decently well. Could grind okay. Could go off very, very, very small ramps. But I would not say I was a skater by any means because I couldn't really do any tricks or anything like that. But the dress was the baggy Jeanco jeans, the long fabric belt basically down to your knees, and Vans. So I had the look down. So that was a less metaphorical, more actual mask, not so much on your face, but the rest of your body was decked out like that.
Yeah.
So that was more of the physical mask. A mask that I had that was not obvious was the mask that I put on to make people think I wasn't terrified the whole time. I suffered greatly from anxiety, and then up until recently when I finally got medication for it, we're talking less than a year ago, I have been a anxious, terrified mess my whole life. So I had a pretty good mask about not letting people really see it, to the point my mom and dad, when I finally got on the meds, they're like, I didn't know that. I'm like, yeah. Yeah, whole life. But so that was a big mask of mine. So I'm very thankful that God's given us the ability to have medications that help with that stuff. And I've also learned that while I was afraid of a lot of things, I didn't need to be afraid of them. And once I kind of learned that, life changed dramatically. I also learned from that I was afraid of being taken out of my comfort zone. And I've also learned now that when you are being taken out of your comfort zone, there's a good chance God is doing something and God's using you. So being afraid sometimes is not necessarily a bad thing, but always act out of love and never out of fear. That's my number one saying. So
Yeah. Yeah, I think anxiety is a big thing today, and it's been a big thing for a while, but just now it's becoming, more awareness about anxiety, and that, it's okay to, get medications and things that, help you, because it is, it's kind of like, an illness, and if you have an illness, then you need to get medication to help you live fully.
Yep.
And it's okay.
So don't be afraid to ask for help in that, because being afraid sucks, and being afraid is not how God wants you to live. So
And He doesn't want you
try
to
it.
suffer.
Right, yeah, it's not how He wants you to operate. So that's the biggest mask I've ever worn, was trying to act not afraid, but being terrified about almost everything I did.
And I bet there's another level for that as a man and a father. I just bet that's
no, you're dead right.
it's a
There
side.
definitely is. It's you got to act like the macho guy. You got to be big, but that doesn't matter. That does not matter. So seek help. It's not worth suffering for it, because you're not helping anybody, especially not yourself.
Yeah. What about you, Leslie?
Well, I appreciate your bravery and talking about that. It's a really important message. You should never feel like suffering is okay. You don't have to suffer.
Nope.
You don't have to be afraid. I was thinking about this question when Hannah brought it up, and I actually want to talk about college more. In high school, I would say I was completely just like wind. I was following any breeze. I had no sense of myself. I was a little cuckoo. But in college, I grasped onto an identity very tightly, and the identity was the smart girl. And I decided that academic achievements would be how I would give my self-worth. And I got a lot of positive reinforcement for that. My parents were very proud of me, and I graduated from college with a 4.0 from Georgia. I was on the stage with the governor, and I got a prestigious scholarship to study in Japan after I graduated. And so I was just like, I was thinking, because I had decided that academic success was my identity, I had decided I was worth a lot, and I was doing really well. And when I was in Japan, I got really sick, and I got so sick that I had to come back home. So during this year that I was supposed to be off studying a project I designed, I was living at home with my parents by myself, going to the doctor 2 or 3 times a week. And there were some people in college that stopped talking to me. They thought I had made it up, that I was sick. It just felt like my identity had completely been stripped from me. I was nothing, I didn't have any of the things that I had built myself up with before. And it was so painful. And what I realize now is that God did that on purpose, because the only identity that I ever needed was to be His. And that was the only way I was going to learn it. So I would never trade it. It was painful and horrible, and I wish I could have learned it when I was y'all's age, but I just didn't. I needed that to get me there, and that's where I live now. And so I feel like I live with less fear, and
Yeah, no, that's
I'm
true.
good.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, very true.
I think for girls even, I mean, guys obviously too, but academic success, because we want to please other people so much and get kudos for what we're doing. I didn't necessarily have an academic identity, but I can definitely identify with, my parents expected me to do good in school and uphold scholarships, and I always try to be good and do the right thing, and which you should do, but
Yeah.
but yeah, I think there's a lot of people who can resonate with that, and definitely also have had some experiences where it was really, really hard, but it was necessary for my growth, and I think for everybody, there's been something that has caused you to just really grow in
Yeah.
ways that were hard but necessary.
It was something Nick told me a long time ago. It's one of your favorite verses. right?
Romans 8:28.
Romans 8:28,
God
which
uses
is
God uses all things for the good of those who believe in Him and have been called according to His purpose.
Yes.
And it's all things, not the good things, not the bad things, all things.
Mm-hmm.
Big things, little things, getting sick in Japan, cancer,
Yeah.
Mhm.
all things. So
Amen.
if you want to know more details, ask. I have a PowerPoint for it. So.
Cool. Did you, I mean, we kind of talked about this a little bit, how, you need to go that for God to show your identity, but did you ever purposefully, like intentionally turn to God and search for your identity or a way to shed your mask? Or did it just kind of happen? Like sometimes God takes us places and we don't reach out to Him, we just kind of are there. But did you ever purposefully like search for God or cry out or wonder where He was and stuff?
Yeah. Again, with the all things, I am so thankful to have Allie. In my daily prayer that I do, I ask for the strength, courage, and opportunities to be God's witness. And I had asked for that for years, and then one day Allie says, "You're going to go get meds." And I thought, oh, that's cheating, I don't need the meds. And then now I look back on that and go, oh no, that was God going, yeah, you've been praying for this. There's a way that I can help you with that. You just got to act on it. So I continue to pray the very same thing, because less now that I think I need the courage, but more for the opportunities. I think God's definitely helped with the courage part. The strength part, everybody needs to. Ask for that, that's important. The courage thing, that's something He can help with. And fortunately for me, in my particular case, medicine helped with that. But that's not everybody. But that's so, yeah, ask for God's help. That's part of the deal.
Yeah.
He wants you to.
That's part of the deal. He loves to talk to you, so talk to Him.
Yeah.
I'd say one of my go-to prayers almost daily, many times a day, is I pray that I can get out of His way. And my verbiage is usually less me, more Him. The people I look up to the most and the people that seem to have the most peace in their life are very good vessels, is what I call them. They just let Him work through them. And I know that I'm always the one who wants to impose my will and fight Him on stuff. So my prayer is always like, stand back. He knows, He wants what's best for me. And I totally believe that. At this point in my life, I have zero doubt that He wants what's best for me, and He knows what's best for me. So my prayer is just let Him do the things that He needs to do in my life.
Yeah. That's mine too. I have a lot of trouble letting go.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not an easy thing to do.
No. So are there still masks that you all wear today? I know as we, go through different parts of our life, maybe we shed one and then put on another, or things like that. Or maybe you just have learned how to work through that. And
I'd say for the most part, I've learned how to ditch them, because, and a lot of that has to do with having kids, because your kids will call you out on it. They can see through you. Parents will tell you that they can tell when you're lying. Well, kids are pretty good at it too. And they know when you're trying to cover something up, or they know when you're not being yourself. So, especially Connor. Connor's really good at that. Xander, okay. Connor's really good at it, and Thea just hasn't really had a full shot to do it, but I'm sure she'll be even better than Connor.
I'm sure Thea's gonna be the one to really call you out.
I'm sure. So that's why, it's like it doesn't work. So you just stop. You're like, it doesn't work.
Yeah, I totally agree about the kids. I mean, I have very few left.
Yeah.
The ones that have hung on for me, I'm kind of surprised by, because I've never been, like I said, I was that smart girl. And, a lot of girls, they unfortunately start to wrap up their identity with how they look. And I feel like I didn't very much. And so as I get older, what's been hard for me is to look older and to gain weight and those kind of things. And when I pray to be free of those masks and those things that I know are being imposed on me, it's the best feeling in the world when God takes it away. And I know that I'm his and that's it, you know, and it's a wonderful, freeing feeling to like just let them go and to be working on letting them go, and it's a process for me, ongoing.
Yeah. Again, definitely, I think for guys and girls, image and weight, and I know for me growing up, that was a big deal because of things, and finding the freedom and the confidence to, you know, kind of, you know, trust that I am his or God's, and
Yeah.
it's really hard to do, especially, I mean, and God showed with body image too, and so I think that's one we can all resonate with, and one honestly that is a lifelong struggle, not
Yeah.
just in teenage years.
Yes, and just like I pray for my will to be powered by his will, I pray for my vision of myself to be overwhelmed by how he sees me, you know, and not the ways I've learned to see myself through the lens of the culture or whatever. I want to see me how he sees me, and I know he thinks I'm beautiful, period, you know.
Yeah, I know this is kind of cliche, but I remember somebody telling me, like, you know, all the things that you're ashamed of, whether it be body image or fear or whatever it is that we criticize ourselves for. And I know this has probably been said 100 times. It's probably really cliche, but, you know, it's kind of like we're criticizing God's handiwork because, you know, God made us, and then we're criticizing what he made, and we would never do that to, you know, I mean, maybe you might do that to like a mountain range or something. It's not good enough for you, but I'm not tall enough. But
my go-to.
for the most part, like, you know, God views us as his beautiful handiwork, and so, but it is, I think, all of us have things about ourselves that we criticize or wish were different. So, yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
What would you say to our youth trying to figure out how to put down masks and figure out true selves, or covering up things like anxiety or academics or body image or that kind of thing?
I would say the first thing is to realize that God's got a plan. Realize that it is a perfect plan. And then take a step back to think, how is the mask that I'm wearing impacting that? Because once you start to ask yourself that question and be honest about it and talk it out with people, I mean, the biggest one is talk it out with people. Like I mentioned, I mean, the anxiety thing with me didn't change until A, I prayed about it, but then B, Allie came and told me, it's a problem. You need to get this fixed. This is not helping you. It's not good for you. It's not good for the kids. Not good for her. Not good for me. So fix it. And so the biggest thing is asking for help, both from God and from other people.
Yeah, I totally agree.
That's the key. Because yeah, it's hard to do it. And any image you're trying to make yourself have for any reason, there's a reason you're doing it. Otherwise, we wouldn't be talking about this.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard to get past that reason and fix it. So ask for help.
Yeah, and finding people that you can feel vulnerable with. It's just you should make it a priority, and I'm hoping your small groups are that place, at one of those places. And I also want to encourage the youth your parents may not know how to talk to you, but they want to talk to you.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
and I'm speaking as a mom, like I want to know everything that's going on with my kids, and I want them to, but I don't always know how to, how to start those conversations. So never be afraid to talk to your parents. They're going to be your advocates, forever. So find people you can be vulnerable with, find trusted relationships, find people who can help you grow in your relationship with God, and then, keep that hope that you'll be free of the masks someday.
Yeah. And, I mean, even there's such a tension, too, where, I feel like you have to choose every day to lay down your mask, because even though you may get the freedom and the confidence to do so, you're still struggling with things. You know, what I struggle with in high school is not what I struggle with now, but now I struggle with other things. But I feel like as my faith has grown as an adult, I've gotten better at, you know, deciphering the lies and how to work through all of it. So that would, you know, it's one of the that helps.
Yeah.
But
Well, and remember that, and I'm looking straight, that the enemy is ever present, and the enemy doesn't want you to take the mask off. The enemy is exploiting that personal hesitancy to be real, because the enemy is the great liar. God is all about the truth. So that's why it's hard. I mean, that's why you keep continually praying about it, because it's not a one-time thing. So
Yeah, and it says in the Bible over and over, God loves the truth. I mean, that's just the fact. He wants us to be real. So we need to try it. That's the way to freedom, and that's the way to be close to Him. So,
Yep.
and it's not easy.
Nope.
And that's why we're having this conversation.
Exactly.
well, thank you guys for
you're
having this
welcome.
conversation, and hope that all of you who are listening have gained some insight from this. And we don't have all the magical answers, but
No.
every little bit helps. And so,
Yeah, if y'all have
Yeah.
any answers, please just
Yeah.
shoot them our way.
Answers or questions, bring them on.
Yes, we're always available to you guys.
Yep.
And you can always be vulnerable with us. I mean, I know all three of us, you can trust us. So
Yep.
if you ever need anyone, we're here.
yeah.
Yep.
We love y'all.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.